IOV Puducherry is making an enormous contribution to our profession by arranging this knowledge sharing session. And I know what it takes to arrange such a session. All right. So before I begin, and at the end, I'm not going to, I will not get a time to acknowledge the people. So I take first opportunity to acknowledge the people. So I acknowledge all the office bearers, chairman, secretary, Ganeshan, and Anbu for inviting me in this session. And it's really my pleasure to be with you. And as such, I'll today it's been named as a knowledge sharing session, but I'll not be sharing any knowledge. I'll be making certain things place before you, so that it will justify our today's topic, need of the hour. So I at this juncture, I also take this opportunity to acknowledge my family member and the family member of each and every one of you, because when by our session may end, we will have the dinner time, maybe for many of us, and they will be waiting for us, and they are allowing us to be in this session. So I acknowledge a family member of mine and yours. And at this time, I acknowledge a special people. Who are the special? So you all participants are the very special people, right? And what it takes for you to be in this session, right? So this Puducherry IOV is, they are not charging anything, no money charge for this session, but you must give your time and pay attention. So you are paying such thing which you cannot recover at any time. So time is gone, it's gone. You cannot recover. If you pay money, you can recover by doing some assignments, right? But time cannot be recovered. And since you all are being here, you are giving your time, you are paying attention, and at the same time, you are listening to me, and that your listening makes a difference. Not me saying makes a difference, but your listening makes a difference. So I acknowledge each and every participant in this webinar, as well as on the YouTube channel, live telecast. So I acknowledge each and everyone who is here right now for joining this session, right? And more of this, my talk today, that has been derived from the two books. That is the 3 Laws of Performance and Speaking Being. And it has been based on the work of Werner Erhard. Werner Erhard is a great thinker of this millennium. He has not got much academic attention, but the way in which he has developed certain programs, it makes an enormous impact. In fact, that is Apple and Samsung and Tesla. See, so name the company, Fortune 500, they have taken his service for transforming their business, right? And based on that, his work, so Landmark Worldwide Breakthrough Technology offers various courses, various programs. So I have participated in those programs. So basically my talk derived from the two books and the work of Werner Erhard and my participation in the program of Landmark Worldwide Breakthrough Technology. So it is based on that. And whatever the material I've been shared in this session, it has been derived from these books, and it has been copyright or has been held by all these 4 authors and the Werner Erhard. It belongs to them. And I acknowledge them for providing me this opportunity to share with you. So today's topic is a need of the hour for valuers and valuation practice and for valuation practice. So this title I just sent to the Anbu, say this is the what thing is there. So he readily agreed on this title. But when I thought of, what this title actually is, right? So in this title, the what word catched my attention is the need. So there are various words similar to the needs, that is want, desire, or say aspiration. So these are the various words which are synonymous to need, but the need is a totally different. It is not synonymous to this word want, desire, aspiration. But what is need? It is without which something doesn't work. For example, if you want to drive a car, you need a petrol or diesel, and now electricity also. All right. So without that, it can't run. And to run a car, you need a road. If road is not there, you cannot drive the car. If you want to drive a car in an ocean, you cannot drive there, though you have a petrol and diesel. Why? Because there is a road is not there. So need of the hour, it's a one phrase. But need of the hour is what? Without which we being a valuer, we being a professionals, we being a valuation practitioners, what we provide in our practice, that we flourish in our practice, we contribute to our profession, right? So that is what I mean to say need of the hour for valuers and valuation practice. In fact, this my talk, it is applicable to everyone, as an individual, as a valuer, as any professional, or as a group of people, or a family, or you can say department of a company, or entire company as a whole, or it is applicable to even country, right? So that's actually, it's a need of the hour for you and yourself. You can also say that way, right? So whatever the conversation we are going to have in this session is applicable everywhere, every walks of life. You will be amazed at the end of my session that how we didn't know this, how it works, and it works without your awareness. It's just like a gravity, law of gravity. Gravity works on you. But whatever I'm sharing with you, what we are creating in this conversation, it is of that nature. Whether you believe in gravity or not, it is going to work on you. Similarly, what conversation we are today having, whether you believe in it or not, but it is going to make you impact in you as an individual, you as a practitioner, you as a valuer, and our profession, valuation profession as a whole. This is what little bit about our today's topic, right? And so what works to get most out of this session? Whatever I'm saying, I will be saying in this session, it is not the truth. Don't believe what I say unless you get it for yourself. It is neither my opinion. It is as it is, just like a law of gravity. It is going to be confronting what I'll be saying today. So what I'll be presenting in this session, it is going to be confronting. Why it is confronting? Because it is a human nature. Whatever fits in our knowledge, whatever fits, we accept it. What doesn't fit in our view or our knowledge, we'll simply reject it, right? And at the same time, don't try to understand what I'm saying. Even don't try to reduce it as some concept or as some theory. Don't do that, right? So I invite you to these don'ts. Don't do that, all these things. And the powerful way to listen is that looking for what is missing. For me as a valuer or in my professional practice, if I would provide that missing, then it is begin to work the way I want it to work. What does that mean by what is missing? So for example, your mother cooks a tasty dal, right? And it's fragrance like anything, yeah, awesome. And you just put a spoon full of dal in your mouth, and your mouth, oh, something is missing in this. And you ask your mother or wife, oh, look, something is missing in this dal. And see, taste, and find out, okay, go to the kitchen or find out the table salt and put a pinch of salt in this dal. And then you taste it, it becomes all way. Everything is fine, right? So my invitation today is you look for what is that pinch of salt you provide as an individual, as a valuer, as a practitioner in your practice, that makes an enormous difference in your practice, right? So you look for what conversation in my practice are missing. If they created, then it would open up a new pathway for actions. You can take new actions. It gives opening, and so that you can take a new actions and you flourish in your practice, and you can make your practice that what you wanted to work. So ऐसी आप practice बना सकते हो ये conversation में. So look for that. So let me begin. How to remove that upper bar, Anbu?
Sir, what do you want to remove, sir?
That over that menu, no? Microphone and stop video. It is.
No, that won't be visible for others, sir.
No, it is. I don't want. I think it goes
it is
up.
Distracting. You can just drag that, sir. You can just click and drag it.
Okay. Where I can place it?
Somewhere at the bottom part, sir.
No, I think it goes away. Okay. Anyways. So let me start with a story. And this story, by and large, all of you may be knowing, right? But if you are knowing, don't forget that story and listen this story newly, as if you are listening to the story for the first time, right? Because this is the story, which is, if you discover this story, and you can make a huge difference in your practice. So it goes like this. An old man was walking home late one night when he saw a friend on his knee under a streetlight, searching for something. What are you doing? I dropped the key to my house, so I will help you look. And both are searching the keys. And after a few minutes of frustrated searching, that old man asked, where exactly you were when you dropped this key? His friend pointed towards the darkness and said, over there. That old man amazed and asked, then why are you looking for it here? The friend replied, because this is where light is. Key dropped there in the darkness, but he's searching under the street light where the light is. Consider that we are searching for the key to performance in illumination provided by the knowledge. Whatever you want to do in our practice, in our life, that we try to find out by the illumination provided by the knowledge and the light of the knowledge. And here the performance, by performance, what I mean, you can take it that performance in any sense. So right. So input and output ratio, whatever it may be, you provide this much time to a practice and you earn this or that, whatever the way you want to make you interpret this performance. It works for everything. Right. So the key to performance. So key to performance means that the performance that you perform what you want to perform. Right. So that we try to find out in illumination of knowledge, illumination provided by the knowledge. So if we have a problem, what we do, we check to see whether we know a solution to it or not. And if we don't have any solution, then we go to the people who are expert and ask them. Even sometimes we hire the consultant, we read the books, or we may search the websites, www.google.com. But that Jeffrey Pfeffer showed in his book, Knowing Doing Gap, that more information often doesn't translate into different action. So one problem with the human being is we do the same thing again and again, expecting the different result. We collect the same information, more and more information, but that doesn't result into the performance. we don't take any different action so that we have a different desired result, what the result we need. So we are searching for the key to performance in the place it is easy to look for, rather than in a dark, unfamiliar or hidden places. जहां से हमको इजीली मिल जाता है वहां से हम लोग ले लेंगे. When we want to take an admission to a course, the majority of people will say, कहां से हमको easily degree मिल जाएगी? From where we'll get the degree easily? And we go there and we get the degree. But we may not get the learning. Right? So we take it that the key to performance, we are searching the key to performance in the place where it is easy to look for, rather than in the dark, unfamiliar or hidden places. So today we will explore, we will dwell into to find out what is the hidden place where the key to performance is lying. You may be we are not familiar with that. It's lying in the darkness. So today we'll find it out. We'll search that key to performance. So we all are searching the key to performance, as I said, in enumeration provided by the knowledge. So consider this circle in front of you represent all the knowledge which is existing on this planet. And if I ask you, how much do you know out of this entire whole knowledge, or whatever knowledge they're available in the internet and Google, www.google.com, everything is there in this circle. And if I ask you, what do you know? You say that it's a little dot. All right. But to just have a representation. So this entire domain of the knowledge is divided into the 3 sections. The first section is, I know what I know. I know how to speak in Gujarati, how to write in the Gujarati. I know that. Right? And we all know what we do with this, what we know. Either we put to use or either we don't use. Say, I'm not using Gujarati right now to communicate with you. Many of you may not understand the Gujarati. Right? So I'm using what I know. I also know the English. So I'm using the English language to communicate with you. The second section of this knowledge domain is, I know that what I don't know. I know that what I don't know. What we do, what we don't know, we learn. We go to the expert, as I said. We hire the consultant. We learn and we know. If you want to make a career in valuation, you learn valuation. You know that I don't know valuation, but I want to make a career. So you learn valuation and go into the career of valuation. I don't know how to speak in say Malayalam. So I go to the Anbu and said, teach me Malayalam. So I learn from him and then I communicate in the Malayalam. So I learn. So normally human being, majority during his entire life play in this two sections. What I know that I know, and I know what I don't know. And don't know है उसको knowledge domain में हम लोग transfer करते रहते हैं. So, but ultimately, some of these two sections, normally it remains the same. But can you see that? That vast majority of the white portion of the circle remains untapped. And that section that I call, I don't know what I don't know. What could be the example for this section? As such, there is no example. And it's kind of a dilemma. What I don't know that I don't know. It's just like a blind spot. You can't see the blind spot. Right? But if you have access to the blind spot, it makes a huge, enormous difference. And what we don't know, that we don't know about being valuer. मैं कैसा valuer हूँ? And that is an important question. And who are you being as a valuer? That key to performance lies in you don't know that you don't know. When it comes to discover what is the need of the hour for valuer as a professional, right? So you must have an access to this third section, that is what I don't know, that is I don't know. You do have access to those two sections, what I know, what I know, and what I don't know, what I don't know. I know what I don't know. You have access to that, but you don't have access to this, what I don't know, that I don't know. And access to this domain provides you key to performance. This is the hidden place where key to performance is lying. This is the dark place where the key of the performance is lying. This is the blind spot where the key to performance is lying. Say, at this juncture, I reminded of the two theories. One is the chaos theory, and another, it is the complexity theory. And this chaos theory, it is about discovery of the chaotic nature of certain physical phenomena. What is that? So you put a large amount of input and it result into the small output, or you put a small output and it result into the large output. Small input, large output, or large input, small output. That is the theory of chaos. This is the chaotic nature of certain physical phenomena. And if you give a thought, if you think a little while, and you can see that this theory is also applicable to we human being. How come? If I say a one word, I can make the Anbu massively upset. Am I right? I can make. I utter a one word, right? Small input, massive upset. Or years of training, hours of training, weeks of training may doesn't result into the performance of the person, doesn't impact the performance of the person. Massive training, but small little bit improvement in his performance for majority of the people. That happens. And this chaotic theory is followed by complexity theory. So where, to oversimplify somewhat, the whole was not merely a sum of the parts. Whole was not merely the sum of the part, but the whole is the sum of the part plus the interaction between the parts, right? And this complexity theory is again also applicable to the human being. So this combination of chaotic and the complex nature of human being by itself make the transformation of the value as an individual and his valuation practice is a daunting task, right? Looking to this chaotic and complex nature of human being. And moreover, if you put two values together, that is a lot of chaos and a lot of complexity. So two values together, right? And if I put a bunch of value together, it becomes a massive amount of the chaos and complexity. And this makes transformation of the whole valuation profession even more daunting than the individual's values transformation. So as a group, as a profession, it is a daunting task because looking to this chaotic and the complex nature of the human being, how that our profession we can make that our profession that works for all. So here, that what are the challenges in the valuation, risk and opportunities. So I want to skip some part of this, my conversations being a time on the time constraint, and if time permits, we'll come back to this, right? So challenges or a need in the valuation is the mastery, and the risk is the pretending mastery, and opportunity is you can develop the mastery. But so I'll skip to this, right? And in the interest of the time, and it is nothing new. I will make up in some conversations, right? So let me skip some slides. Okay. Then how to search the key to the performance? Looking to this chaotic and complex nature of human being, and that what you don't know, that we don't know. What is the access to that section of the knowledge? Because that any key to performance is being provided by the knowledge. So how we access the section that I don't know, that I don't know, given that being a complex and chaotic nature of the human being, right? So it is a really a daunting task. How to search a key to performance. So now let us explore, let us dwell into how we can find out the key to search, where the key is lying. So any entity or any individual or anyone has a set of the three phases in the life. That is the past, present, and the future. Right. So to search the key, what action you will take so that you perform. You can go to the past. Can you go to the past? Whether that key is lying in the past, you can't go to the past. And at the same time, if whether it is the key is lying into the future, can you go to the future? We don't have a time machine. So what we can impact is what action we take. That is everything that must happen in the present. But how we are in the present, what shapes my actions, what constrain me in taking action, what allowing me to there, what openings are there so that I can take action in the present. Whether it is a past or the future, I cannot impact those past and future. I am in the present right now. So to have this, let me tell you the cosmic joke. So if I tell you the joke where the duck walk into the bar and ask, do you serve duck in here? Because it is joke, you don't say, duck don't talk, right? So in telling this cosmic joke, I'm going to say things that are unbelievable. But as I said, it's a joke. So you suspend the disbelief and take what I say as being so. मैं जो बोल रहा हूं वही सही है, आप ऐसा ले लो, this is a joke. And by the way, it's a cosmic joke, remember. So it's not funny, but the punchline is important, right? However, this is being a cosmic joke. It is very simple, and it has only 4 lines. The first line is, the past has nothing to do with who you are and how you act in the present. I had a degree in Masters in Valuation in the past, and I am doing the valuation today. So past is definitely influencing who I am in the present. But this line says, past has nothing to do with who you are and how you act in the present. And remember, this is a cosmic joke. So you suspend your disbelief of the statement. And for the moment, just accept, for the purpose of this joke, that the past has nothing to do with who you are and how you act in the present. Did you all get that? And the second line goes like this. Who you are and how you act in the present is given by the future into which you are living. It is not the future. It is not the future giving you the present and action in the present. It is the future into which you are living. We will discuss more about the future into which we are living just in a while. So this is the second line. So first line, your past has nothing to do with who you are in the present, acting and being in the present, and who you are and how you act in the present is given by the future into which you are living. What future you are living. And the third line of this cosmic joke is a question. Nelson, how could that possibly be true? My past has nothing to do with my present, who I am in the present, and my future I am living into that is giving in the present. So when I wake up in the morning and I walk into the bathroom, I look into the mirror and say, who is that? I know who is it. It is me. That one I saw the night before when I brushed my teeth. The same, past, present, same. How could that be possibly true? it is obvious that at least a great deal of who we are is given by the past. It is obvious, but I said it's not. So how could those first two lines of the joke possibly be true? That the past has nothing to do with who you are and how you act in the present. Who you are and how you act in the present is given by the future into which you are living. So now the punchline is coming. So in order to get that punchline, you actually have to be asking that question. How could that be possibly true? These first two lines are how it can be possibly true. And you cannot just be listening to me and you get that. You really ask yourself a question, how that two things, that past has nothing to do with who you are in the present and how you act in the present. And how you act and how you be in the present is given by the future you are living into. Ask this question. How could that possibly true? So Richard Feynman, a Nobel Prize winning physicist. So many scholar goes to him and have a discussion with him. And those scholars takes notes, so many notes when they are discussing with the Richard. Right? But the Richard has taken only one note. And when he died, that one note was still on his blackboard in his laboratory. So I'm going to tell you that one note, what the Richard has taken. It says, there are certain things you can only know by creating them for yourself. There are certain things you can only know by creating them for yourself. So the things I'm sharing with you are not the things that I simply hand over to you, but it can open up something for you to create for yourself. You have to really asking the question, how could it possibly be true that past has nothing to do with who I am in the present, what action I take in the present, and what action and how are you being in the present is given by the future I'm living into. You ask these questions. Don't try to understand. And the punchline goes like this. If it is true that the future into which you are living gives you being an action in the present, and if one puts the past into the future, it will appear as though who I am in the present is given by the past. This is the punchline. If it is true that the future into which you are living gives you being an action in the present, and if one puts the past into the future, it will appear as though who I am in the present is given by the past. It is like a filing cabinet. Filing cabinet having a two drawer, one bottom drawer is the past and top drawer is the future. So instead of filing the past into the past drawer, you file that file into the future. And when you open up that future, you will see it's a past lying there in the filing drawer. Right? So your past, present, and the future. How are you being in the present? That is given by the future you are living into. Right? So let me say how you can put a past into the future and you live in the present. You take action in the present. So say you did a business in a partnership and that partner has betrayed you. That caused you the huge loss. In present, you decide that I will never ever do business in the partnership. And your good friend tomorrow comes to you and asks you, hey, let's do business in the partnership. What you will say? Big no. Why? Something has happened in the past and you took a decision in the past and you put that decision, never ever do business in the partnership, you put that into the future, and all your future actions is been shaped by your past lying into the future. Your past decision is never ever do business with the partnership, and that decision lying in the future, and that's give you the being in the present. Reject you reject the opportunity of doing business with in the partnership with your one of the good friend, right? So if you notice, then let me see what the future you are living into. So if you notice, many of you have simply decided, not purchase, you simply decided to buy your future dream home, or your home, first home. You simply decided, not yet finalized, but you simply decided, now let me purchase in the next 2-3 months or next 6 months, I'll purchase my own home. I'll purchase my first home. So आपका action, तो the what future you are living into right now? You are living into the right now. The future is purchasing your first home. And what will be your action? Wherever you go, you look at, oh, these curtains are good. Oh, this design, furniture design is very good. Oh, this false ceiling is on. Yeah, we can have this type of lighting. You immediately start looking at the buildings. Oh, this elevation is good. This interior is good, right? Why? You immediately start noticing all these things, because the future you are living into is purchase of your dream house. So what giving you the present? The future you are living into. So I'm asking you to try on this idea, and that you are being an action in the present is given by the future into which you are living, rather than coming from the past. It looks like it comes from the past because we tend to put our past into the future. And remember, I am just asking you to try this on. I don't even know if it is true. But one thing I know, that the people who have been willing to try on this theory or this idea, then they gain some access to themselves in searching the key to performance. It has provided some action for opening for actions, right, to move further. And by the way, this is the cosmic joke. So let me share you my personal experience, how this idea has opened up something for me. Until 2005, September 2005, I was not giving any public talk. Right? And something I saw that why I am not giving a public talk. I was as a faculty, and so much so invitations I was getting, but I was denying them by giving one or other reason. But I was avoiding the public talk. So something happened when I was in a school. I failed to perform in the debate competition, and that audience has laughed at that time when I was 13. And till I was 35, I gave my first public talk in September 2005. I was holding on that if I fail to perform in a public talk, people will laugh at me, and that I don't want. So something happened in the past. I kept that in the future. On all the future event, I didn't spoke in the public. I was good at in the classroom, but not in the public. So that is what the past, which you put into the future, give you the present actions, and your being in the present. And this is the cosmic joke. So now, having said this, we can go more deeply into the future, where it comes from, what sustain it, and how can we rewrite it. So you can see the power of the future in this question. Does money make you happy? And most of you will reply no, right? But look, as I said, the human being's nature is the chaotic and complex nature, right? So it is much more than the no. It is more complex answer to this. Does money makes you happy? So take two families. One made 2 crore last year and the second made 50 lakhs last year. And the next year, the future they are living, that the next year, both expected to earn 1 crore rupees. And it is obvious that the first family who won last year 2 crores will be unhappy, and the second family who won last year 50 crore will be happy. Why? Because it is not the actual money you have today that makes you happy or unhappy. It is the money you expect you will have, believe you will have, hope you will have, or fear you will have. 2 crore का 1 crore हो जाएगा. And that shapes your experience of money right now. And how that shapes your action in the present? That first family who expected to earn 1 crore less this year, they may cut back. They may not replace their old car, or they may not go on the vacation. Whereas the second family who expect to earn 1 crore instead of 50 lakhs may plan for a vacation, may replace the car. Right? So that what shapes the action? That the future you are living into. The future is expectation of earning 1 crore. For one family, instead of 2 crore, it is 1 crore. For one family, instead of 50 lakhs, 1 crore. So the universal principles becomes clear in this example, right? So people live into the future they see coming to them, not the actual future they will get to someday. So unless people have done something radical to alter this course, the future they are living into is their default future. So the future you are living into, it has been labeled as a default future. By default future means it is going to happen. Say sometime default apps are there, right? In your laptop and mobile, you want to open a image, it goes to default app. Whatever you assign that, it goes different. It's going to happen, right? So now we are going to search where the key to performance lying. You may not know, but you actually have a default future. As I said, we all are living into some future that is called default future, and which is already written. We have already written our default future. And I am not saying that it is an inevitable future. Inevitable future means you are aging and virtually dying. That is inevitable, right? So that future is inevitable. I'm not talking about that inevitable future, but this is the default future. So we have a default feature as a valuer and as a valuation profession, and our profession has a default feature. Even the country has a default feature. Even the group of the people have a default feature. Even family have their default feature. Everywhere default feature is that which is already been written, and that default feature gives you action in the present. And what is likely to do with this default feature? Nothing. If nothing comes along unexpected, nothing comes along, then what will happen to with this default feature? Probably more of the same. You expect to earn 1 crore rupees instead of 2 crore rupees, so you naturally you will cut down your budget expense, right? So it determines your action unless you do something to rewrite it. Why rewrite is possible? Because that default feature is not a reality. It exists in when you say. It exists in the language. So every group, every family, division, organizations, company, and a person has a default feature. And notice that default feature drives your action in the way that requires zero thought. आपको सोचने की भी जरूरत नहीं है. मैंने एक्सपेक्ट किया लास्ट ईयर 2 करोड़ कमाया था, आज 1 करोड़ कमाना है. So it without thought you will start cutting on your budget, cutting on your expenses. without and giving it zero thought. Automatically it starts. And the impact of the default future is automatic actions you start taking into the uh, present. So default future lives at the gut level. And the secret is it is rarely discussed. And so it is invisible to us. And that default feature determines your action. And that is performance. Performance is a function of action. No action, no performance. So how you can tap your default feature? So we have to look into and you can, how the feature is made up of. The feature is made up of the following things, and that includes and consists your assumptions, your expectations, earning of 1 crore instead of 2 crore, or earning of 1 crore instead of 50 lakhs, your disappointments, resentment, regret, your fear of earning less, your interpretation, your meaning, what something happens and you give meaning to what is here, what something has happened in your life. So fear, interpretation, significance. You give a meaning, you give us some interpretation when Valuers Act is coming. You give some interpretation. You have certain interpretation of that act, what is coming. That the future we are living into. That Valuer Act will come. And accordingly, we are designing our practice right now. Significance. What significance to you? Issues that occur as a dangerous. Right? If that our Valuers Act occurring to us as dangerous, then we start winding up our valuation practice and start looking for some different things. Our hopes. Hope ek din ho jayega aisa. Our dreams, pipe dreams, our aspirations. So actually, the default future, it is a prediction based on the past and the current realities. And human being always does the prediction. It is not a fault of human being, because the God has given us a brain. And how the brain functions is always predict certainty. If something uncertain comes along, if our brain come along certain uncertainty, we always try to find out, it always try to predict how it can make a certain. If you go into the jungle and if you see a stick, you will pick up that stick, thinking that it will useful in dropping down these fruits, right? Because your brain want to predict the certainty. If I want to have to drop down fruit from some height, I must need a stick. So you pick up the stick along the way. But the monkey doesn't do that. We do that. So default feature is a prediction based on the past and the current realities. So you are in a jungle, you pick up the stick. That is the current reality. So default feature, so let's say some example of the default feature. So default feature of profession of medicine in US. What they will keep on saying, our pay will be cut, our profession will be marginalized, we want to attract the best and the brightest, and the quality of care for everyone will suffer. Right? This is the, you can see the hope and fear and cutting of the pays, all that. This is the default feature, what the profession of medicine. And what are their action? They do the minimum to keep the license and took some other and do something other to do than the medicine. They start finding alternatives, right? So what would be the default feature of the great company? So we will continue to be regarded as one of the best companies in the world, and eventually we will come complacent and arrogant, and then the slow creep of mediocrity will begin. One day we will wake up and ask, how did this happen? How did we become General Motor? And what could be their action in this space? They enjoy the rides, take fewer risks, keep doing what they are doing now. And the best example is a Nokia. Nokia was on the top. He didn't accept something, then he went out of the market, and now he rewrote his future, and he came back into the market. So everyone has its own default feature. So where the performance lies, where performance lives, where the key to performance lives, it lives in unsaid but communicated, and people are unaware of it. Unsaid but communicated, and people are unaware of it. So for example, if I ask my son, do you believe that the money grows on the tree? If when he's demanding something, and I reply to him like this, do you know that does the money grows on the tree? What I communicated, I don't have that money, which is unsaid, but my son gets that. Oh, my father do not have the money right now. And when I ask him, by and large, I'll be unaware that I'm communicating to him that I don't have money to buy your things, right? So that future lives in unsaid but communicated, and you are unaware about it, that you have already communicated. So now let's articulate, let's take some time and let's articulate what is the default feature of valuers and our valuation professions. So I had made an attempt to articulate this default feature from various WhatsApp chats, which is this is all these are the copied from the various group. Various people have done this, posted on their WhatsApp chat, and in which let's articulate what is the default feature of our we as a valuer and the valuation professor as a whole. Some has wrote in a 2003, according to which 55% valuers reported being pressurized by the bankers, borrowers, and estate agents to inflate home values. And in 2007, that percentage goes to the 90%. Right? The same problem is in India too. Our problem is further aggravated because the entire valuer community is dependent on banks for work. Right? And to resolve this, we need some strategy to loosen the strange hold of the lenders. Otherwise, it will remain a dream to practice ethically. Dream. It's a default feature to practice ethically. Some said, I'm very happy to note that you have mentioned about valuers following ethics and due diligence as stated in my book. In fact, this is the first thing to learn for any professional. Sadly, this is lacking in our profession, particularly when we are competing for work assignment and trying to undercut our fellow valuers. This has resulted in our client taking advantage of us. Ultimately, results is that the profession is being degraded. My suggestion to all valuers is that we should try to get work at the cutthroat fees, but try to get the fees that are reasonable and do the good job. And somebody has replied to that. And then this is the need to be followed in a professional stream to be good performing professional. So when one person said to be a good performing professionals, what is unsaid here but communicated is right now our professional is not performing good. This is what unsaid but communicated. And who has replied as he's unaware of that. Maybe unaware of that. Right? Somebody says that now the valuers are realizing the importance of professional ethics. It is better to be late than never. May the Almighty gives us a strength to follow the ethical path despite many arguments and temptations. This could be an excellent New Year resolution. Its aspiration is hope, its dream, its default feature. The professional practice always depends on our technical competence as well as ethical standards. Adhering to both these two on a regular basis will build and credible and goodwill in the market. Therefore, person doing ethical practice always survive in the market against the wrong notion of the doing wrong to survive. Somebody says all association of valuers should join together and get it legally enforced. Right? So various banks policies, right? And if necessary, we should be ready to firmly resolve to go on indefinite strike at national level. Depending too much on the banks is not safe, especially for youngsters. Can you see that the fear? Can you see that the resentment? Can you see that the significance? Can you see that hope over here? Hope that all valuers join together. All valuer association join together. Hope. This is what the default future is. That the valuation is being taken as a secondary or supplementary profession. I don't have much active working life left. Let me tell my wish. My wish is that wish that all association of valuers should amalgamate into the single entity. By statutory status, I mean that the education, examination, accreditation, and licensing authority should stay vested with us. The sooner this happens, the better it would be. What we need is a professionalism, pride and confidence in our work. For most valuation is a secondary optional extra. So no compulsion to learn, improve, excel. No professional approach. When valuation becomes the only source of income for a large majority of the valuer, things will change for the better. Again, this is, you can see that what is the current realities, what is the hope, right? Change for the better, right? One RVO will tend to become monopolistic and dominant, and effectively, and then it failed to effectively keeping the interests of its members intact. All right, and we all are multiple institute with less members. This shrinks our voice. We don't have any voice, right? So this is a disappointment, resentment, regret. Don't we need to move like that to get organized with one organization, one RVO? This is all hope. The critical difference has to be do with training. The people should be made aware of what to do and how to act in a case of extraordinary situations. So what is missing is the training. Let people acquire education in valuation and let them excel in the profession without any fear of recognition. Yes, of course, you can fight for quality of education and compel universities to provide the quality education of high standard. This is all this hope, aspiration, assumptions, expectations. On the indemnity bond, it is not the bank guarantee, but it is underwriting. Anyone who is confident of his value conclusion should opt for this. This is a bit risk and reward too. This is the banks are demanding the indemnity bond from the valuers. Why? Because they view valuer as a certain kind of professional. So that default feature of the valuation profession, if I summarize all these things, that user will keep pressurizing to inflate the values, we keep getting the lower professional fees as determined by the users and having no say in agreement of the professional fees. It is a dream to practice ethically. Undercutting leads degradation of the profession, lack of technical competency, may require to go on indefinite strike. There is no value act. Wrong knowledge has been spread like anything for the decades together. University is not providing the quality education. No statutory status, no professionalism, giving no pride and confidence in work. It is a secondary or optional profession. No compulsion to learn and improve and excel. It is not the sole source of income for many. No single institute, no quality education. We have no organization or one organization or review. No trust by the user. They imposing the indemnity bond on us. So this is what the conversations going on repeatedly. It is not now. It is going on since long, right from the inception of this our profession. If you take out the old journal of IOV, you will find all sort of this discussion in that also. 20 years back, 30 years back, you will have this is go long on because it's a default feature and it is predicted from the past and the current reality as and when. So it is a ultimately it is a matter of to future. So there are only two roads for us. One of them is a default feature. If you like it, don't do anything. It will happen. It will coming at you. And if you don't like it, if you don't want that feature, what just we saw, if you don't want it, say hell no to that, and you can invent your own future. You can create your own future, and by rewriting your own future, you can replace the default feature. Remember, what action you will take in the present, how are you being in the present, how you practice in the present is given by the future you are living into. What future you want to live? Is that default future or you want to create your own future? So need of the hour is mastery. That is a professional competency. Ethical practice. That is by being in integrity. Here, integrity is not a small word. It is a huge word. I'll deal with this little while. And creating listening about valuer and about what valuation practice is. What I mean by creating listening about. Say if I utter a word and something comes up in your mind, or you say something. Say here it goes. If I say only one word, politician, look what is coming in your mind. If you say to daughter-in-law, your mother-in-law was saying this, right? So the politician have certain listening about them amongst the society. The mother-in-law is having certain listening to her daughter-in-law. So we valuer has a certain listening. Indemnity bond is imposed on us. Why? How they listen to us? Because the valuers are not trustworthy. They can do anything. They may land us in trouble in the future. So let's have an indemnity bond. And you see that Valuers Act is coming with the stringent punishment clause. Penalties of 2 crores and 5 crores, even imprisonment. It is coming. Right? So why this is all this coming? Because we have a certain kind of listening in the society. So we need to create a fresh listening about the valuer and about our valuation practice. Fresh. We have to create our who we are. This. If you say the doctor, we have some image about the doctor. Either it may be the savior, or it may be the warrior, or it's a cheater, or it's a looter. Something comes up. So we need to create listening about our as a valuer, what people view to us as a valuer. And if you look at these two pictures, it perfectly depicts what it is. That one seat is marked with the cross so that people maintain the social distancing, and people respected that rule and don't sit on that mark. Massive respect to the law. We are massively respecting the law. We are massively respecting the ethical practice. But we know what we do. That's our default future is. And we must learn from the science of the ants. You can see the next the picture at the right hand bottom. Invented future. See the 12 ants. How? What they are doing. What they are doing? A drop of water on the tree leaf. 12 ants gather to drink that drop of water. Can you see what amazing thing is happening in this? These 12 ants have divided themselves into the 4 groups so that the drop of the water doesn't fall. So they can maintain the balance of that water. So they divide into the 4 groups. And it is the science of ant to cooperate and divide the share of the water equally among them and give everyone his right. All 12 are having the right. They are holding the water droplets in a place, maintaining the balance. They are cooperating with each other and still deriving the benefit. So this is what the need of the hour is. Compete with the cooperation, having competency and integrity as a foundation. Nothing can be built without foundation. So to have our profession must rest on the foundation of competency and integrity. And ethical practice is a part of integrity. I'll deal with the integrity a little while. And why compete with the cooperation? Because as a human entity, we always love adventure. We always love the competition. And at the same on other side, if neurologist from neurological point of view, if you see that we all want to need to be connected with each other. It is a basic human need. One is adventure, competition, and another is the get connected with each other. So compete with cooperation. Compete with cooperation. That fulfills the need as a human being, need as a valuer, need as a professional. And where we compete, where we create a competition, the foundation is that competency. As we saw in the 2 section of the knowledge domain, section 1 and 2, we learn, we use. And here, integrity, I don't mean honesty. I don't mean anything that of the right or good or bad or not. No. Integrity is a matter of your word. You honor your word as yourself. You honor your word. Integrity is it is a whole and complete. And there is a law of integrity. I just want to touch upon that law of integrity. See, in economics, you must have studied, there are the 4 factors of production: land, labor, capital, and entrepreneur, and somewhat the technical know-how. This law of integrity is going to be the 5th factor of production. If you apply that law of integrity in your profession, in your practice, in your business, you can not increase by certain percentage. You can increase your profession or practice by many folds, many times. And what law of integrity says? Diminish in integrity. That is, the thing or the human being is not whole and complete. Your word is not whole and complete. What you promise, you don't do that. When your word is not complete, whole and complete. When integrity diminishes, workability diminishes. Say I invited someone for dinner and I prepare the dinner and it doesn't turn up. So all the effort and the dinner goes waste by he is not keeping the word. Right. So the integrity diminishes, workability diminishes, and workability diminishes, opportunity for performance diminishes. It impacts your performance, and the performance is a function of action, and that function of action that action you need to take with the integrity. There is a diminishing in integrity, there is a diminishing in the workability. There is a diminishing of workability, it is a diminishing of opportunity for performance. It's just like so you take a bicycle wheel, you are having a spokes. If you remove spoke, still it work. If you remove another spoke, still it work. If you remove another 2, 3 more spokes, it won't work. So workability reduced and your performance is reduced. So you cannot use that further as a bicycle. If one spoke is removed, you can use that as a bicycle. It little bit it doesn't impact you. But more the integrity go on diminishing. You are removing the spokes one by one, and ultimately the wheel collapse and you cannot ride the bicycle. So sometime I invite the Pondicherry IOV to have some session on this integrity. And this integrity, it has been already been given to us as a model code of conduct. This integrity is not in a normative sense, right, wrong, good, bad. This integrity is a positive model, is a positive things, just like a law of gravity. If you don't believe in the law of gravity and go to the 5th floor and jump without any protective equipment, and the law of gravity is going to work on you and you may get killed, whether you believe in law of gravity or not. So similarly, whether you believe in this law of integrity or not, the more you don't keep your promises, more you don't honor your word, don't honor your ethics, then your profession is going to be diminished. It is going to have impact on you. And many times you are unaware of this. So compete with cooperation, having competency and integrity as the foundation. This is what the need of the hour is. It is not the time to plan. It is time to create. It is time to create or practice. You honor your word. So the moment you write on your visiting card or on your letterhead, registered valuer, it says something and you honor that registered valuer. What is ought to be done by the registered valuer, you do that. So you create a valuation practice in such a way that people have some listening about the valuers. So indemnity bond disappears. It's really not to plan. Planning comes after you create. So I just wanted to leave you with this idea about the future into which you might be living. Whether that future is whatever that future is, to the degree that the past is in there, the future is limited to doing it better or doing it more or doing it differently. But it's going to remain the same. We whatever the attempt you made, see, we human being, if something is not working as per our wish, as per our what we want it should work, right? And we do try to do better. And if you fail in doing the better, if you try to do more of the better, and if we fail into doing the more, and then we try to doing the differently, try to do that differently, but it result into the same things. Doesn't make much difference in that. What we want to intend, what is our intention is. So what I found about the future into which I am living is that if I take a real honest look at the future of my relationship with my profession, what relationship I am having with my profession, the future of my work life, the future of any contribution I might have made to my profession. If I honest look at all these things, then I can easily articulate my default future. And sometimes it has a dim and the blink spots. But if I can confront the future into which I am currently living and get a real handle on it, what frees me from that future is recognition that I will survive that future. You have already survived in the past. So finally, I will leave you with a joke. And this joke that illustrates something about the future. Ready for the joke? A man was giving a lecture about longevity, how long you live. And his thesis was that the more sex you had in your life, the longer you would live. He could tell he was not getting across his audience. So he said, well, I want to illustrate what I'm saying. He asked, those people who have sex at least 3 or 4 times a week, stand up. And they stood up. And they were beaming and happy and full of life. He told them to sit down and said, people who have sex once a week, please stand up. And they stood up. Somewhat door, no life on their faces. And he was thinking that he had made a point. And he was about to go on further when he saw all the way back in the auditorium, there was a little fellow who had beams of light coming out of his face. And he said, he surprised. Oh. And he said, yes, how often do you have sex? And that little guy stood up and said, once in a year. But tonight is the night. So it is the future into which we are living that gives us being an action in the present, even with our current circumstances. Even with our current circumstances. So my friends, it's all up to us what the future we want to live into. The default feature we saw, we articulate. We can more articulate that. If you want that, don't do anything about that. If you don't want, create your future. What you want to have in your future. And that future will give you being an action as a valuer in the present. How you can plan out how you can plan your practice. It is a time to plan. Once you create your future, what you want, what the future you want to live into. Thank you very much. So now we have some minutes sometimes. So let us have the question and discussion, not this a question and answer, because I don't have any answer. Right? So if you have any questions, you are free to have the questions. How about, what about, yeah, but whatever it may be. So we can discuss. So meanwhile, you can have these 3 quotes on the screen. Sorry. So Anbu, is there any question or something like that?
Sir, if you could click on the QA box.
Okay.
There are some comments also, but there is one question from Kumar PR, sir.
Kumar PR, okay.
And anyone has a question can post it here in the box, or you can raise your hand. I can unmute you. You can.
Okay, the Kumar PR says, if you want to be happy, do not dwell in the past. Do not worry about the future. Focus on living fully in the present. That's completely true. But my dear friend, what's give you the present? It is not the money you have in your pocket. It is what you expect to get next. See, the past you cannot change. It is already done deal. But what gives you the present? The future you are living into, as I said. So moment you buy a yellow car, and you will start noticing the yellow car on the road. Up till now, you are not noticing. So what gives you the present? That a future you are living into. It's amply clear. Try on this. I don't say it is a truth, but try this. And another proposition is what happens, something happens in our past, we put that past into the future. And we deal like this. The moment the father slaps on your cheek, सड़ाक करके दे दिया आपको. In that moment, you may create something. You take some decision. Oh, my father doesn't love me. And see your relationship with your father. From that moment, it starts deteriorating. That the future you are living into is, my father doesn't love me. And slowly and gradually, you grow up and say, nobody loves me. See who we are in the present. No, I know I got from this one of our hard working that, see, something happened in our childhood when we took some decision as a child in the childhood, when we are very small, when we are 2 or 3 years, 4 years old, and some decision we took in adolescence, and some decision we took in the puberty, and those decisions drives us today. When I failed to speak in a school debate at the age of 13, and people laughed at me, I took a decision: don't ever speak in the public. Otherwise, people will laugh at you if you don't perform well. And that I was holding on until my age of 35, when I discovered that was the decision of the 13 years old child, not me. As a 35 years, I can definitely speak. And I spoke to the first public speaking I have given on a valuation into the collectors and deputy collectors of the Gujarat state in their workshop in September 2005. And hope this my talk with you is also it's a fair good enough, right? So that something happened in the past, and we put that past decision in the future, and that future gives us the present. That shapes our present. That shapes our action in the present. So you need to create what the future you want as a professional. What the future you want to live into. Default future we already saw. It is so many things is going on. We are speak on many things. We are saying, communicating so many things, and we are unaware of it. We are communicating our default future, that the future we are living into. Automatic. It doesn't require any effort on your side. It is going to happen. Hope this may give you some clarity on that.
Yes, sir. And next question, sir. Ayadure sir, you can just ask your question. Sir. I unmuted you.
Good evening, Nelson sir. Thanks for a very emotional, passionate outburst. I would personally remark.
Thank you, sir.
My very honest question to you. Very earnest question. We are aware of the black box, the dark reality prevailing profusely outside. We are aware, as much anyone else is aware of. But what's the way out? Who would and how would we light a candle?
Yeah, good, excellent question. That the point I missed, you asked that. See, we human beings normally aspire. Some leader comes for us and fight for us. And then our profession will be going to be excellent. I will support him. See, who was the Mahatma Gandhi? He was an ordinary barrister who was practicing in South Africa. And the moment he's been thrown out of the train, in that moment, he created something for him. And when he came down to India, he was an ordinary man. And he created the future independent India. And at that time, he was not knowing what to do and what not to do. He just simply started dealing with Satya, Ahimsa, Satyagraha, law breaking, jail baro andolan. He simply started doing that. And people started simply joining him. He created the only one future, independent India. Right? And who was that? He's an ordinary man. You and I are an ordinary man. We can be a leader. We can take a leadership. And leadership is not a matter of some treat, some internal quality you require. It's require declaration. Mahatma Gandhi, what he did? He was an ordinary man. He declared independent India, quit India, and he thrown away that British Empire of more than 200 years. Similarly, what happened in US? 52 states, the leader of 52 states come together and they wrote a letter of independence, a declaration of independence. And we commit to this future of 52 states. They invented the word America. And they said, we are United States. And they invented the future and they signed that declaration of independence. And they put their reputation, their everything, their life to that reputation. And the fight with England begins. That is what the power of creating the future. And who is the leader? See, always we'll look for certain leader comes and do something for us. You and I can be a leader. Each and everyone who is in this conversation can be a leader. It's simply a matter of declaration. You just declare what you are standing for and take a responsibility for that. And responsibility, I don't mean it's a credit or blame or something like that. Responsibility is your stand of willingness to be the cause in the matter. It is not like I caused that thing, but I am standing for this cause. That is your willingly cause. That is the call, taking a responsibility. So anyone can be a leader. There is no way out. It is simply a matter of articulating a default future. And if you want that, okay, do nothing. And if you don't want that, say hell no to that and create our future, what we want, the future, what future we want. So that is what the Nokia did. So Nokia was in a arrogance. He was not adopting the technology and he's been thrown out of the market. And then he rewrote his future and come back into the market of mobile business. So that is what we can see. This default future and the created future doesn't live in the future. It doesn't like inevitable future. It lives in a language, what language you speak. And that goes what we communicate, but we are unaware of that, what we are communicating. It remains unsaid. If you tap that, you can create anything. The moment I saw myself being bogged down by the people laughing in the failing in the public speaking, I just recreated that incident and that disappeared. And I started speaking into the public. And that decision was at the age of 13. And I spoke for the first time in the public at the age of 35. I was good in the classroom. That is good. It is not a public speaking. In the classroom, सबके ऊपर मैं dominate कर सकता हूँ. But in the public, I don't know how domination. So I was avoiding not being laughed at. And that my default feature I was living at, I'm avoiding a laugh. I'm being laughed at, right? And the moment I got that, I rewrote my public speaking and I'm speaking with you right now. So that is what hope this.
If I may comment,
yeah, sure.
I mean, sorry for remarking. I'm 68. I hope I appear to be a little elder to you, at least in age, if not in anything else. My humble comment, your language, tone, if I may remark so with your permission, with an anticipatory bail.
Yeah.
You sound very antagonistic, militant, rebellious. Your first name is okay, but the second name you should have been perhaps Nelson Mandela of valuation community. You sound very rebellious and antagonistic.
My God.
I like it. It's not a comic comment. It's
yeah, I got
from
that.
The bottom of the heart.
I got that.
One needs to be very passionate and emotional with such a break-free, outspoken attitude and mindset. I enjoy it.
Yeah, thank you for your comment and the comments. People like you, it's really encouraged me.
Yes.
But thank you. See, I always invented myself as being a person who I am is a contribution. So wherever I get an opportunity, I see the contribution, I go and contribute. It is to my profession, it is to my family, it is to my friend. Wherever I see an opportunity, I go and simply go and contribute, because that allows me who I am. Earlier it was, see, if you, it sounds funny. Earlier, who was Nelson? You know, who was Nelson? Nelson was the dumb, and who is always trying to be proved to be intelligent. That what I took a decision in the standard grade 4. Something happened in the grade 4, and I got that there is something wrong, and I need to be an intelligent guy. In the college, you know, in the 4 year of my engineering, I missed only 2 hours of class because of something else happened. I could not reach to it on time. So that much was my passion to be intelligent. And you know what that has deprived of me? So during a free hours, I go to the library. And instead of that, I could have gone with my girlfriend and then enjoyed some food in the backyard of my college. I didn't do that because I wanted to be an intelligent guy. Right? Something happened in the class grade 4. That is what I discovered, and that disappeared. And now it is no more driving me being intelligent. Nowhere it is driving me. So, and then I invented myself as being who I am is a contribution. So that drives me. Thank you, Ayuradi sir. Your comment means a lot to me, and it definitely encourages me to be in a profession and to contribute to my country and my profession. Thank you very much. Thank you, sir.
Great.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And Suresh Kumar, sir, I have unmuted you, sir. You can ask your question.
Good evening, all of you, sir.
Good evening.
Mr. Nelson, sir. Excellent session, sir. We have enjoyed very much. Your words added much more value to the viewer, sir.
Right.
We didn't expect such sorts of words from you. Just we enjoyed the session very much. This is not even knowledge sharing for both for profession. It holds good for our lifestyle also.
Yeah, surely.
So both, yes. One more thing, sir. What you don't know, your dream and our dream, let come true very soon. What you told, one single RU or something like that. So we enjoyed.
Great.
Yes.
Thank you.
Very good session.
And Suresh, don't hope for that. Don't hope for that to become a reality. Take a stand.
Okay.
You are a powerful guy.
Yes.
Take a stand.
Yes.
That's great, Suresh. Thank you. Thank you for your it's my pleasure to serve you. And thank you, Anbu, to providing me this opportunity to serve those people like Suresh. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Anbu, I have one thing to share: the frankness and the candid nature of behind this mindset of the faculty. He keeps on telling that he was once counted out when he was speaking the dais, and he has fought against all odds to shape himself, groom himself to be a good, effective public speaker. I really admire that he has to. I won't say admit, he has confessed this twice. I mean, that's how one should be frank and candid. I mean, sometimes it is one's own, one's develop or groom. Sometimes it is imposed. I would like to share for a minute my experience. In the classroom, I was studied in a Christian college, RC College, St. Xavier's College from Palayamkote. It's a small town in Tamil district of Tamil Nadu. My confusion was, once I was found chatting, chatterbox. The principal spotted me, the 45th bench, second boy, call him up. In those days, the punishment given to students who were found or caught napping, chatting in the class, that they will call him to the stage and ask him to speak for 5 minutes. I'll tell you, this can be the worst punishment, because when you stand before many guys on a stage, when you stand up, your mind sits down, your tongue dries up. It's a very funniest experience. I mean, there's a lot of classes, exercises given. Keep your fist together, stand in a particular posture to start talking. It's a science, it's a training by itself. Effective public speaking is an art. And Mr. Nelson Macron has definitely mastered it. The way he was extempore, expressive, articulative, communicative, and very effective in expression. It doesn't come to all by birth. One has to develop, work hard, persevere a lot to be what he is now all about. Thanks to you, it's a personal remark from my side, not a false flattery. It's a fact. It's a fact. Thank you. Thank you.
And I share the secret with you. See, that more I share my failures, no, more it disappears. Even my 10-year-old son knows everything about me. When I was failed, when I was miserable and whatnot, he knows everything about me, and that's give me that's empower me. And even you may be surprised. My 10-year-old son is my coach. He coaches me in some way, right? So that makes an enormous difference as being a human being, and it's also gives me a more enormous opportunity to deal with any stuff of the life.
Hi, sir, Melson. Hi, sir.
Yeah, hi.
Yes.
I am Anand, a registered valuer.
Yes, Mr. Anand.
Thank you, sir. It was a wonderful session.
Thank you. It's my pleasure to serve you.
Your expression and your way of putting across things really enlightened me.
Thank you. And start taking
Thank
action
you.
on that.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
You're
Thank you so
welcome.
much, sir.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you.
Any other questions? And sir, the chat box, somebody has asked, throw some light on valuers bill.
Valuers bill.
Yes.
See, it has been already thrown a lot of light in the valuers bill, right? See, I tell you, when you need any act, and if you look at the law, what is the law or what is the act? Act is required to govern the behavior of the subject. The state requires the act to govern the behavior of the subject. If the behavior of the subject is not in a welfare of the society, or not in the favor of the state, then that state comes with the act and imposed on you to demand obedience from you to behave in a certain way. The valuation, in the valuation practice, in a valuation, the profession was not taking a ownership of the profession. We valuer miserably fail to take a ownership of our profession, and somehow it has, as somebody has said in our default feature, that is a degraded the quality of we valuers, right? And to reinforce that, the state has come with the valuers bill, and they want to govern us, they want to regulate us under the process of a law, right? And I don't know what is the present state of affairs of the valuers bill, but it may come in the next monsoon session or then after. But it will, and I'm sure whatever the suggestion and objection we have given to them, they are going to be taken care of by the state. They will take care of those suggestions and objections. And the Valuers Act, whatever it will come, it will definitely come in the interest of development of our valuation profession, because it is inevitable for the legislature to draft a law in a such a way that if somebody questions in a judiciary, it will simply go out as a unconstitutional, right? So definitely what we all valuer has taken a lot of interest in that. Lot of the pandemic give us an opportunity to dwell into that valuers bill and give our rigorous comments, right? And so that has definitely, that legislature will think of it, our suggestions. That's why otherwise it could have come immediately. It has not come yet because it requires up together the redrafting altogether. So unless and until it has not been redrafted, it can come as a whatever in the same shape what it has been published as a Valuers Bill 2020. And definitely they will take care of take our suggestion into the account, and definitely they will come with the Valuers Act, which regulate us and which definitely provides us uh, they will create a future for us, and we will live that future. Definitely. So
And to add something to this valuers bill comment, sir, my personal opinion, than the way we are dominated by the bankers now, being the interested party in the lending process, they are simply dominating us. And it is increasing day by day. And you are even showing a slide where valuers in America was pressurized in 2005 to boost everything.
yeah,
So rather than this kind of a scenario, even a bad valuers bill is a better option. This is my personal opinion.
that could be. See, we don't know what works unless and until we jump into the ocean and start swimming into that. Until then, we don't know how, so what it looks like a swimming in the ocean. You can swim well in the pool, but in the ocean, let the ocean comes, and we will dwell into that. We swim into that, and there is a
Somebody asked to throw light on Valuer bill. Many are unable to throw any light on that very clearly. It's not visible, however much light you may throw on, because many are putting a lot of weight into that, right?
Radhi sir, see, instead of throwing the light, this bill might have accumulated the dust. Then our light might not reach there.
No, it is so lightly. Light means weight-wise.
Yeah.
In the real sense, not in the lighter sense. It is so very light.
Yeah.
So very weightless. It will stand. It's going to take a very long time to stand the test of time. For the simple reason that it's many provisions, if I may say so, which were there in the original draft, like honorary value, or all those things are not there in the revised one after public comments. It is undergoing a terrific reformatory change. Any law, even by way of a promulgation of an ordinance, would always be subject to a lot of evolutionary changes. Take, for example, IBC. IBC, let us take, it is a very nascent nursery act. It has come recently in 2016-17. The number of additions, amendments, regulations, rules, changes, notification and specification in the last 2-3 years have been rampant. And I'll give you one very interesting, shocking information. All the amendments to the main sections of the Act and all the rules and regulation, none of them were passed through the formal parliamentary procedural route. They have all been promulgated by way of ordinances and later on ratified.
Yeah.
All the changes, all the amendments in IBC, ever since it was enacted in 2016 till date, everything is by way of promulgation of ordinances. So you can imagine if you come out with the Valuer bill also in a hurry-burry, just the same way they did for IBC, we should not repeat the bad history. We need to thoroughly think over before shaping it well, if I may say so. It's my personal opinion.
Yeah. See, I reminded of when Valuer, that IBC came in 2016 and when I read in 17. So my first impression of the IBC was, it is a bailout code. And number two is, the bankers, if they go to the IBC instead of Sarfasai, they will have to take a haircut of 90 to 95%. That was my statement in 2017. And it has really came true today. Because IBC Act, it has been used as an economic tool, not as, in fact, insolvency is a social act. To instigate the difficult person who landed into the business difficulties, financial difficulties, usko bahar nikalne ke liye hai. It is not an economic tool, and now we try to use that as an economic tool. So this is what the conflict happening in the insolvency, and people will definitely take advantage of it. This is what my opinion is about the IBC. Anbu, there is some chat by Biju John.
John, yes, sir. Even I am not clear with the question.
Hi, I am also not. I'm just also wondering what the question
But,
is.
Binu sir, I have unmuted you. If you can ask your question. It's not clear on what you have written. What's the question we are not clear about?
Yeah.
Sir, Binu John, sir, I have unmuted you.
See, what I get from the Benu John is that we valuer has been blamed for the NPS, right? So it is there in any system. Something went wrong. There must be somebody on whose head we put the blames. So we being a weakest link in that, we have been used for that. That is what I can get from his question. Okay, anything else? Can you see any question in the chat box or anywhere?
No, sir. No, sir.
Okay, fine. So thank you very much for everyone for be with me today this evening, and it's around about 9 o'clock, 8:55, and you are being here and your dinner is waiting. And I especially thanks Ayuradi sir for your personal comment, and that has really encouraged me to be the person who I am. Thank you, sir. Thank you. And thank you, Ayovi Puducherry.
Thanks, sir, for making us understand some very subtle things about the way we think, how we carry our past experiences, that hampering or impacting our growth. And so much information we have taken inside. I think we need to churn and churn that more to understand and use it better in our lives. Thanks for sharing all those things, sir. And thanks for all the questions and all the panelists who have made it more interesting. And I request our secretary, Valuer Ganesan, to propose a formal vote of thanks to conclude this session.
Good evening, sir. On behalf of IOB Puducherry, I thank Valuer Nelson McMahon for giving a wonderful speech on topic given, and the way he has explained the key to performance and the theory of past, present, future, which is very easily explained and very understandable, and about the default future and mastering and ethical practice as a part of an individual, and competency and integrity in the professionalism. And it was a wonderful one, sir. Thank you, sir. I thank all the chairmen and secretaries of other branches. I also thank our senior valuers, Mr. Valuer Ayadure sir, Valuer Nelson Suchidev, Valuer P.T. Suresh Kumar sir, and other senior valuers for making this event a wonderful one. Thank you.
It's really my pleasure to serve you, and hope this about 2 hours is of value to you, and you get a value for your time and your attention. Thank you very much. See you sometime in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.